Hello and welcome to a TopGear Ultimate Drive. I'm in the amazing Mpumalanga province on a mountain pass that, quite frankly, I can't pronounce. And I'm driving the updated Toyota Hilux Legend. Now yeah, I know, a Hilux Legend is not a car you'd associate with driving up a mountain pass, but that's not really what this film is about today. We're actually just making our way to a town called Barberton because we've got a very special challenge lined up there. But more on that later. This kind of driving allows me to explore some of the Hilux's new updates. So for a start, there is more power. 150 kilowatts, baby. It's not class leading, but it is very good, and you can feel the difference. They've also updated the interior and the tech inside here. So there is a great JBL sound system. There is stuff like adaptive cruise control and lane departure assistance. What else is there? There is a great mobile Wi-Fi. Seriously. So you and your family in the car, everybody can connect to the Wi-Fi on one hotspot, as it were. It's a technology that's been put in here by Netstar. I think they've been doing that on Toyota cars since 2019, but I'm connected as I speak to you now. Something that I particularly enjoy, and especially on these jittery roads, is that they've tweaked the suspension to be a little bit more softer, a bit more cushier. Probably the most notable thing they've done with the Hilux is they've updated the design. It does look different, particularly in this Legend RS spec. They've updated the grille. There's black cladding and panels all around. They've got this sports bar in the rear, and then I guess the big news is the roller shutter, as they call it, at the back, which is an electronic shutter that opens and closes the bin. All push button stuff with lighting and power on the inside. It's all very fancy. So we've arrived in Barberton, small town, pretty quaint, lots of history. You see, many of you have probably never been here, but you've got to thank Barberton for the fact that we have an economy. You see, 130 years ago, this is where the gold rush happened. Way before Jersey happened, Barberton was the place of gold, and still is, actually. You see, Barberton is a town of many firsts, really. The first gold was discovered here. Apparently, the first street lights were erected here. The first stock exchange was here. And apparently, the first double-story building was here. That's it over there, actually. It's a triple story now. The town itself is steeped in history, and it's all quite spectacular, really. But I have to say, this entire region, this entire Mpumalanga region is more fascinating because of its love of this Hilux. In the back there are the Makondjwa mountains. And what we're going to do now is attempt to take this to the top.
With the help of a man who knows this area better than most, we're going to trek deep into the undergrowth and then climb right to the top of the Makondjwa mountain range. Its peak, around 1,700 meters above sea level. It is perhaps the toughest part of the journey.
That's high. That mountain is really high. And there's no roads, I'll tell you that much. So, but it's exciting. It's exciting. Our guide Vainant says he only takes serious 4x4s up there. And that's why he's driving a Land Cruiser. But let's see how Hilux does, eh? Let's see how you do, old Hilux, old boy. Girl.
Our destination is the little town of Malelane. It's located 72 kilometers from Barberton and just off the N4. If you traveled there by way of normal roads, it would take you about 45 minutes. But our way Well, we're doing the direct approach, as the crow flies as it were, albeit on some slightly worse terrain. Time to our destination, about 5 hours.
So it seems like we're getting to, I don't know, the foot of the mountain, I suppose. It's just getting a little bit more dark. Deeper into the bush we go. For years and years, Hilux has been telling us about how tough it is, right? Everything we know is about tough and tougher. And now, what they're trying to start to do is go, we're still tough, but we have a bit more luxury, a bit more comfort, a bit more tech, a little bit more sophistication, right? But the thing is, they can't lose the tough. Tough is everything, because here, in a world where, quite frankly, not many people go, but the people who do go drive Hilux. And here, you need to be tough, I'll tell you that. No soft roaders are gonna be entirely happy here. Starting to open up now. Wow, look at that. We live in a beautiful country. Hey? To be able to explore landscapes like this, you gotta love this country. You got to love South Africa. Wow, that is amazing. Welcome to the top of the Makondjwa Mountains. Have you ever seen a place this beautiful? And here's the thing. There's no one around.
Hello?
Freaking
Hi, look.
mountain bikers on top of a mountain. Welcome to Barberton. Let's go. The other thing with being on top of the mountain is chasing time. We gotta open up the taps now. It gets a little bit less crazy, and we can really start to put a bit more of that 150 kilowatts of power down. And it's all pretty cool. Rough and tough, but pretty cool. So we've stumbled across Eureka City. So because of malaria and all these sorts of diseases, cities like this existed on top of mountains. And this is why Eureka City's here. And I gotta say, there's not much left. There's a few buildings and ruins. This is where all the miners lived. They would wake up in the morning and go and mine these amazing hills and valleys for gold. It's amazing. 120 years ago, by my calculation, it's really not a long time. 120 years ago, this was a city. Time's of the essence. On to Mpumalanga we go.
After hours of arduous going, we began to make our way down the mountain towards Mpumalanga, and the sight we saw told us we were just in time for our rendezvous. Now that's a sight you don't see every day.